Engine's fully assembled. As you can see, it's going back in. This is the big moment. We're gonna give it a start now and see what the car's saying. It's kicking. So we are back on the 135i. As you can see, the crankshaft is back from the machine shop. The journals have been grinding down. It's looking perfect. Back into the block. What we're gonna do next is put the cover back on, torque it down, spin the crankshaft, make sure it's spinning freely.
So guys, the block is back from the machine shop. It was in a bit of a state, so we had to get a line board. We've got Seth over here, he's just testing out the rod bearings before we put the crank inside. And yeah, it should be ready to be built up. So all the new rod bearings are in. I'm feeling very smooth. We've got Seth, I don't know where he's gone, but he was just torquing up the bolts, and we're going to test if this crank spins freely. Now it's torqued down, spinning correct. So Seth is just on the second stage of torquing them down, where they have to be, how many degrees is it? 70 degrees. See if the crank is spinning nicely. Nice. Thanks, bro.
24 hours later.
Here's an update on the 135i engine. We got all the head assembled, got the bottom end assembled. Everything's ready to go in. Just the rocker cover left to go. And obviously the injectors and the ancillaries, and then we will then plug everything together, rock it back in the car and start up. See how far we've gone with this car. The engine is all timed up now. As you can see, that's the timing tool. Where it's positioned and secured. This confirms the timing is in place. Almost ready to go back into the car now. As you can see, we've got a lot of progress on this 135i engine. Everything's put back together. The sump, the heads, the rock cover, injectors are back in as well. Turbo's on. So I think hopefully tomorrow we'll be putting the engine back into the car and then give it a start. See how it goes from there, I guess. Stay tuned for the results.
So guys, the M55 is put back together now. Timing is done. Bolts are in. The loom is attached. It's ready to go in the car. Everything is torqued to specification. Obviously, engine's off the table. This is the old head.
So we've got the 135i here. Car is back in the workshop. Engine's fully assembled. As you can see, it's going back in. And obviously once it's down there, we're going to plug all the wires back on, all the ancillaries, all the wires, strap everything back on, start a motor and whatnot, and then give the car a start and let's see how this engine runs afterwards. What's going on, guys? Today is the last day, hopefully it's the last day for the BMW 135i. It's the day we press the start button and get the engine up and running. If everything runs well and sweet and the idle is perfect, then I'll go for a test drive. I won't be going into boost obviously because it's a new rebuild. It's got all these brand new fresh parts. You need to let it wear in at least 1,000 miles before you come into boost. So yeah, let's get into the workshop and let's get this car started. We just got the last part to go back on, the oil cooler and the oil cooler line. If you remember from the first video, the cause of failure was the line basically popped off and let all the oil out of the engine, and that resulted as a seized engine. So once we replace this now, we'll start the car up, see how it's running. Hopefully it's good news for us and the customer, and you can go back to him today. This is the big moment. We're gonna give it a start now and see what the car's saying. Let's go. You gotta keep cranking it. It's kicking. Just gotta get the fuel through to the engine. Go again. that's it. There we have it. The 135i is alive. As you can see, the revs are sitting perfect. It's a cold start obviously, so it's a bit louder than usual. In a few seconds, the revs are going to start dropping down. But that engine sounds perfect now. That's exactly how I want it to be sounding. As you can see, the revs have now dropped down from the cold start. There's no lights in the dashboard, no engine management, nothing like that. Obviously, there's a bit of fuel in the car. It's a bit low. But the car's idling perfectly. That's a result. 135i, engine rebuild, done. I'm now going to take this on a test drive to make sure everything is running perfectly fine. As you can see, the car's not the cleanest, so I'll be taking it for an in and out wash as well. Standard with any engine rebuild that we carry out. Flipping out, look at the condition of that. Got some spider webs here as well. Signs of a sitting car. So I've just pulled the car at the workshop. As I said before, the idle is perfect. It's just sitting, there's no misfiring or anything like that. I'm gonna go for a quick test drive. Gonna check if the boost is coming in and if there's any sort of other issues when driving the car. So let's go. So I'm gonna put in Tiptronic mode, go low on the gear. Just see how the car goes through the gears. Don't want to come into boost too much. As I said before, it's a new rebuild. It needs to brake in properly before I do any of that. Car's pulling very strong. Can feel the boost just about coming in. Excellent. The car's driving just how I need it to drive. Need some fuel, obviously. Very low on fuel, 6 miles range. Look how bumpy the car is with the coilovers, Bilstein coilovers. The fuel is dropping really fast, so I'm gonna pull back into the workshop. Let's get this car washed and hand it back to the customer. But yeah guys, this is it. The 135i part 2. Engine rebuild complete successfully. So the car's all washed now, prepped for handover. I'm very happy with the engine. It's running perfectly fine, just the way we want it to be and just the way our engine rebuilds are done every time. 10-10. For those of you thinking, why did it take so long? With non-runners, you can never guarantee how the car is going to be once the car started. So for this car, once we started the car up, he had a misfire. It wasn't idling perfect. We just weren't happy with it, so we had to look into that, and it turned out to be that the spark plugs were really old and they just weren't firing properly. The gears were not shifting from park to drive. Again, that was due to shortage of gearbox oil, and that happened because the torque converter was stuck onto the engine. Because the engine was seized, the torque converter was stuck onto it, and when we removed it, a bit of oil came out, and that shortage of oil was enough for the car not to shift gears basically. We had to rectify that, and not to mention how busy we were last month. We were just rammed up with jobs one after another, non-stop. It's been an absolute madness. We just had to juggle through all the works and get the parts ordered in, and you know, it's non-stop work, handovers and stuff like that. But yeah, here's the 135i engine video complete, part 2 done. If you haven't seen part 1, I've left the link in the description below. Click it and see it, because I'm sure you'll enjoy that. Like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel if you're new. Follow me on my Instagram, nams_boost, and I'll see you guys on the next one.